Good morning, everyone. The room has just opened. I know the guests will start coming in. Well, we still about 3 or 4 minutes to come in. There's some people who have already joined in. Welcome, everyone. We would like to welcome all of you and ask you to please patiently wait with us for another few minutes before we start the show. We're just waiting for people to enter the room so that it becomes easier for all of us.
Have you met us yet?
We are Migrate
World.
We are
offering a wide range of services,
offering a wide range of
citizenship and residency by investment, to company formation and more. Allow us to explain. If you're seeking residency or a second citizenship and passport, you come to us. Through investment, we help you obtain citizenship or residency, which not only aids you in visa-free travel and security, but also means ample opportunities and an overall better life. We offer citizenship and residency by investment programs in Cyprus, Malta, Bulgaria, Dominica, St. Kitts, Portugal, USA, UK, and Canada, just to name a few. With over 15 years of experience, we are renowned for exceeding expectations. We recognize that every client situation is unique and every solution is tailored as so.
Good morning, everyone. The room has opened up, and I know customers of you, all of you have come in. Till we start that, we still have another 2 minutes to go. I just want to make some housekeeping announcements to all of you to mention that please, you are welcome to ask our questions, any questions you like to ask our experts today. Please remember, the questions have to be typed on the right side, on the chat function. You can just type out your questions. When you type out the questions, please remember 3 things. You need to give your name. If you want to give the name of the person you want to address that question to, that's wonderful. And please mention, if possible, your company affiliation and where are you from. Are you from Delhi? Are you from Mumbai? Are you from Chennai? Are you from Bangalore? Are you from Calcutta? Wherever you're from, do mention that. That would help us a lot. That'll be wonderful. So please ask any questions. If there are any issues, if you can't hear, refresh yourself and you'll be back again. So we have quite a few of us, all of you in the room at the moment, but please give us another minute or so before we start. I would like you to hold on for another minute or so before we start the whole thing. Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. There are a lot of you in the room already. It's exactly 11 o'clock. We will be starting within a minute or so. And just want you to hold on for a few more seconds and we'll start the whole show. Okay, good morning, everyone, and namaste to everyone. Welcome to the show today. That's what basically it is. But before I start, I thought I will give you some housekeeping announcements. I would like you to please listen to us very carefully, understand what we're going to talk about. We're talking about something different today. And please, you're welcome to ask your questions. Whatever questions you have, you will please write them down on the side. And please, when you're writing your questions, please make sure that you write your name, where are you from, which is most important, your company affiliation, and as well as who that it is addressed to. If you can do that, that will be wonderful. So the best thing to do is, before I start the whole thing, I would like to show you a small film. And that is the best way of doing it. And then I will talk about a few things. So I will request both my speakers, if they can mute themselves, we would like to start the film.
Have you met us yet? We are Migrate World, offering a wide range of services ranging from citizenship and residency by investment to company formation and more. Allow us to explain. If you're seeking residency or a second citizenship and passport, you come to us. Through investment, we help you obtain citizenship or residency, which not only aids you in visa-free travel and security, but also means ample opportunities and an overall better life. We offer citizenship and residency by investment programs in Cyprus, Malta, Bulgaria, Dominica, St. Kitts, Portugal, USA, UK, and Canada, just to name a few. With over 15 years of experience, we are renowned for exceeding expectations. We recognize that every client situation is unique and every solution is tailored as so.
Sanjeet, we can't hear you.
Good morning, everyone. Once again, my apologies. Let me talk about a few things, and I thought I'd mention about the global pandemic, the way it is, and the good news is the vaccine is out. A lot of people are getting it, but yet I can safely say the experts are telling us that this is going to be full opening will be about easily 10 to 12 months away, because 7 billion people on this earth have to be vaccinated, and that takes a long, long time. Well, the new worry which has come out of the UK at the moment is that the virus is mutating itself, and what's going to happen, we all don't know. But I think it's time that we all learn to live with this and find new ways. And the new normals are going to be taking effect, and business travel may be cut down quite a bit. That's what the experts have told us. So all of us are looking at new opportunities, aren't we? And the travel industry, which has taken a big beating, is now, we are hoping for a restart, and we're all looking at all of you to look at new opportunities also. And that's the reason today we have some great experts to talk about some business opportunities with all of us today. Actually, it's lovely to see most of you today over here. And I welcome you to this very special webinar, and I'm happy to introduce our trade in learning new products. The whole idea is to learn something new. This year has taught us a lot, and the most important lesson that we have all learned is to endeavor. We need to change. The travel needs to change. We need to know our clients very well, and we have to become their connects to foreign countries, because all of us know our clients extremely well. Today, we have moved away from the traditional travel subjects and are going to talk about something very exciting and challenging. My panel today consists of experts in foreign residency and citizenship. This is a new for most of us, and it opens a huge different world of avenue to earn money, explore different business opportunities. Interestingly, over 500,000 Indians gave up their citizenship between January 2015 to October 2019, and this number might double in the next 5 years. That's what the expectations are. So let's hear a lot about what's going to happen, and I will today introduce my experts to you. So I request both of you, when I introduce yourself, if you can just, one is a lady and the other gentleman is there, so there's not going to be there, but still. The first gentleman I'd like to introduce to you is Mo Al-Haj. He's the CEO of Migrate World. Hi, Mo. He is a graduate with Computer Information System. He has his own started his own international student recruitment from the GCC countries. That's what he did. And today he expanded this to Migrate Services. He has over 15 plus years of experiences in representing HNI, individuals, investors, and of course, as the CEO of the company, he knows exactly what it is, and he's going to talk to us today and telling us what we need to learn and what we need to do. The next lady right there is Shalini. Shalini Lamba is the country head for Migrate World in India. Actually, I don't need to introduce her. Everybody knows her very well. But still, I just want to say, actually, Shani, I should not say that you have 33 years experience. I think you have much less. You look much younger than that. Well, she's an expert in strategic planning and budgeting, sales and marketing, brand management, business development, and setting up operations for aviation and travel and tourism industry. I recall, I think she started with Jet Airways. That was many, many years ago. And last I remember, she was the India commercial head of SAS, if I'm correct. So that's what she is. So, well, actually, it's no use introducing her. I think we all should know her. If you're in the travel industry, we should all know about her. There's another gentleman who's going to be joining us very soon. He's not here at the moment because of the time difference between them. And that is Mr. Les Khan. He's the Chief Executive Officer of Citizenship by Investment Unit, Government of St. Christopher and Nevis. He'll be joining us, I think, in about 15-20 minutes because of the time difference. Let me introduce him. Les Khan is the CEO of St. Kitts and Nevis Citizenship Investment Unit. He has over 30 years of experience with large financial organizations and risk management companies globally. For the last 4 years, Mr. Khan has been intimately involved in recamping the citizenship and investment units of St. Kitts and Nevis, and has become a resident expert on citizenship program within the Caribbean. Les has also been the chairman of the Citizenship and Investment Program Association in the Caribbean. So that's what he's going to be. So you're going to hear a big expert to talk about a few things. Before I hand over the whole thing to Shalini, I'm going to mention two things to you, that please do hear us carefully, ask us questions in the end, and Shalini and Mo are going to give away some special prizes to the two people who ask the best questions. So don't flood me with questions, but please do ask some pertinent, important questions, and that's what we will take up in the end. So without any more ado, I'm going to request Shalini to say a few words. So over to you, Shalini, all yours.
Good morning, Sanjeev, and thank you for the introductions. Good morning, Mo, and a very warm welcome to everyone from, well, it's been a cold winter morning in Delhi today. Well, we at Migrate World are excited to be here with all of you today and to share this lucrative business opportunity in global residency and citizenship for your friends, family, and business partners. We take immense pride in our core strengths of integrity and trust and look forward to forming strong relationships with all of you, as we have with all our clients and business partners globally. Just to share a little about Migrate World with all of you, it was founded in 2007 by Mr. Mo Al-Haj, who we are delighted to have with us here today. It is headquartered in Dubai with offices and on-ground staff across the globe. We offer a wide range of services from citizenship and residency by investment to international real estate, company formation, and legal services. You know, what I'd like to share with you is that over the years, we at Migrate World have accumulated vast experiences by having helped hundreds of families become citizens of the world legally. And out of that comes our vision, which is to be a globally admired and locally trusted partner. We want to ensure that every client receives the world-class service we believe that they truly deserve. In India, at the moment, we have offices in Delhi and Mumbai with a competent and experienced team of senior consultants. Nikhil, could I have the slide on the India team, please? I'm based out of New Delhi. Vartika is in Chennai. Kunal is in Mumbai. Sunil Arora is also based out of New Delhi. Our email IDs are given here so that you can connect with us. Do send us a hi or a good morning on our business WhatsApp number so that we can connect with you. And please think of us as your personal team and trusted advisors, because we believe that our role goes beyond just simply filling out the paperwork for you. You know, this is such a life-changing experience and we are aware that this decision is one that completely changes the lives of the people involved. And hence, a lot of hand-holding and compassion needs to be involved when we are interacting with our clients. So we'd just like to tell you that we care, and we are here to assist you every step of the way. Before handing over to Mo, here's a brief summary of the countries with whom we have programs. Nikhil, if I could have the 2 slides, please. Citizenship by investment. Now, this is the process of obtaining a citizenship and passport by investing in the economy of the host country. These programs legally confer citizenship status faster than traditional immigration processes. And you know, the best part is that the investors don't need to put their lives on hold during this process. And the next slide takes us to the residency by investment. This is the process of obtaining a permanent residency card in another country by again investing in the economy of that country. PR status is then conferred at an accelerated rate compared to traditional applications. What we've done is that we've put together some fact sheets for all of you, giving more information on the programs. And this is available for you to be downloaded from the file section of this webinar. So please go ahead and do that. And I'm sure you will have a lot of questions, like Sanjeet said, before the end of this webinar. So please ask away. We're going to try and answer most of them. And the ones which we cannot, we will connect with you directly. I will also request Kevin to share our contact details on the chat box time and again as the webinar is on, so that you can connect with us anytime. Thank you again for being here today, and over to you, Sanjeet.
Thank you, Shalini. At least that gives us a little background of what's happening. So you're well set in the Indian market. That's wonderful. With offices all over. Hats off to you. That's just perfectly the way to go. So I'm not going to stand between all of you. So Mo, over to you. We need to hear you and learn more as much as we can. Thank you.
Well, good morning, everybody. Namaste. Sanjeev, thank you for the introduction. And Shalini, thank you for the lovely intro, very informative intro. I'd like to welcome all of you. Thank you for attending our webinar. We look forward to giving out the information in the next little while here, and hopefully we're clear with the information. If you have any questions, like Shalini mentioned, we are at your disposal at any time to reach out to us. So I'll jump right into it. I'm sure a lot of you have an idea about citizenship and residency and immigration, so I won't bore you too much with details, but I'll walk you through the important aspects. Like Sanjeev mentioned, today's world, a lot of people have turned to better ways, faster ways, and easier ways to obtain citizenships, and specifically. So why do people turn to these options? Ease of travel is one of the #1 reasons why people obtain second citizenships, for them not to have to go through the visa process. Even though some people do get their visas and they don't have issues of getting visas, it's the timeline that it takes for you to get the visa, submit your passport in, and makes you paralyzed for a little bit until you get your passport, especially for your business interests. If you're a business individual, that could affect your outcome of your business deals or operation. Another reason is security. In some areas, I mean, India is a safe place. We put this in there for other countries, surrounding countries that do have unrest, that people look for an option, plan B, for them to have. Also, quality education gives your children access to basically the world, for them to be able to go and explore their university or the city they want to study in before they have to obtain their visas or study permits. World-class healthcare, you have access everywhere in Europe, UK, visa-free for you to enter these countries for your healthcare needs, for you and your family, and for you to be able to have that ease and comfort that you have that option. Of course, most of the programs that we offer have no worldwide income or tax, corporate tax, or inheritance tax. These are mostly the Caribbean programs that don't have that. When you're talking about Canada, US, UK, it's sort of a different ball game. When you're living there, there are obviously taxations like anywhere else in the world, given to income tax and corporate tax if you own a business there. I want to talk a little bit about what we do for our clients and our partners. So we assist in preparing, facilitating the complete process for citizenship or residencies. We help initially with the KYC process. So once you have a partner or a customer that is looking to migrate, we do all the necessary checks, information, initial KYC, know your client, to make sure that the individual that's applying is reputable. They have no past history or background that could affect the process, and that could affect our reputation as well. That's something that is very important, as well as your reputation as well with the individuals that you mix with. Most of these programs don't require you to travel anywhere, so everything is done at the comfort of your home city. We take care of everything for you to do with documentations. We assist with the translation, attestations. We even go as far as, if you're having issues obtaining a document, for us to do the proper research and put you through the proper channels for you to obtain such documents. We hand deliver the citizenships and passports to our clients or partners, as well as some of the residency programs. We're able to do the same thing. Some programs require individuals to travel there for biometrics, which is mostly the European programs, Canadian, American programs. This is something that I always like to share and always like to say. I'm sure all of you are aware, we're in the service business. The service business is 80% a referral business. So our relationship always starts with our clients at the end of the process. Once they're happy, it's something that they will always remember. Every time they get on a plane, or if they're holding their passport or asking for their passport number for an application, they will remember you and what you have done for them, how you've changed their lives and their children's lives. Here, I'm just going to talk briefly. Charlene has already briefed on the programs that we offer. So in Europe, there's Cyprus, Bulgaria, Malta, Portugal, and Greece. Most of these programs are residency programs. Malta is the exception of being a citizenship program as well. So they have two options. They have either a residency option or a citizenship option. Basically, you know, the prices obviously differ between program to program. Cyprus, Portugal, and Greece are basically an investment in real estate, starting from 250,000 and up euros. And Malta, you're looking at a donation starting from 650,000 euros and up for the main applicant, and then the price adds on as per the family members. Bulgaria is also a government bond option that can be obtained for a residency with a fast track of citizenship in 2 years. So it's one of the fastest ones on the list there for citizenship without residency requirements, without language requirements. It's a pretty popular option. One important keynote about it is that it becomes by descent once the main applicant has it. So if you have 7 children, some of them are married, some of them are still with you or in school. Once you obtain the citizenship, you're able to give it by descent to your children, regardless of their marital status or age. So it's a very unique option for individuals. Here we'll talk about the Caribbean programs. St. Kitts and Nevis, I'll just brush on it real quickly. We have Mr. Lescan going to be joining us, the CEO of the Citizenship by Investment Unit of St. Kitts and Nevis. St. Kitts is one of the most popular and most oldest programs when it comes to citizenship by investment. This program was formed in 1984. The country gained its independence in 1983. So you can tell you how progressive the country was right from the start to try to find an alternative income for the country. You have Antigua and Barbuda, Dominica, St. Lucia, Grenada. All of these islands offer the same type of option. It's either a donation option or an option into real estate. Some offer options into business ventures as well. The outcome of this is you get a citizenship and a passport within 3 to 6 months, depending on the due diligence process, the findings of your application. It gives you visa-free travel to over 140 countries. Just to name a few countries, obviously the European Union, UK, you have Russia, Brazil, China, very important countries for individuals that are looking to use these citizenships for ease of travel. Moving forward onto other programs now. So we have other programs like Canada, US, UK. These are your traditional immigration programs that everybody in the world is familiar with. They're totally different from obviously the Caribbean and the European programs. These do require residency obligations. So when you do qualify and process your application, you do have to reside to obtain citizenship if that's what your final goal is. Obviously, the benefits are fantastic when it comes to Canada: free healthcare system, education system, social insurance system. When it comes to the US, very similar as well, and the UK. Needless to say, I mean, I don't really need to talk about them too much. I'm sure you all know what the benefits are and how important these countries are. Vanuatu is also an option. It's an island off of Australia. It comes between Australia and Indonesia. It's also very similar to the Caribbean programs and how the Caribbean programs are obtained. So it's by donation only there. It also gives you the freedom of travel for Europe and the UK, just to name a few countries. It's a very fast, effective process. Processing time is less than 3 months. Sometimes we see it less than 2 months, depending on the load and time of year. Montenegro is a new player in the citizenship by investment field. As you all know, it's not a European Union country member yet, but has a bright future of joining. The anticipation is in the next 3 to 4 years. So a lot of individuals are looking at it as an alternative European option, since you're able to get citizenship within 3 to 6 months in Montenegro. So it's an option where people say, I'll take it and I'll wait a little bit. It will only get better from here. So it's a very interesting option as well. Of course, with all these programs, any details, any information you want, pricing, you can get in touch with the team, and they'll be able to assist you and guide you through the programs and the pricing of the programs. I wanted to talk about the due diligence process real quick. If you can just allow me 1 second, I think Mr. Khan is having some difficulties to enter the webinar. If you can just excuse me for 1 second.
Mo, if you want to continue talking, you want us to help in look into it, or?
I'm just going to send him the link here just real quick. Just allow me.
Till Mao is doing that, I would like to thank, I know we already started receiving quite a few questions. Some of you are not mentioning your companies, which I can understand, but please do mention where you're from. Some of you are from Bangalore, some have mentioned that, quite a few haven't. So just to, if you can mention that, that would be wonderful. That would be something which we will look at and ask those questions. So just to give you an idea, Shalini as well as Mo, that people have started asking questions. So we'll take them a little later. Okay, Mo.
Okay, we're good. He should be logging in here in a second. Sorry about that. So the due diligence process, I wanted to talk about that real quick because it's a question that you'll be asked a lot by your clients, family members, business partners. What is the due diligence process and why is it done? The due diligence process is basically for the governments to understand who the person is that's applying, to verify all the information that was submitted, the documentations, even the passports, the legitimacy of the passports and IDs that are submitted. So a lot of people say, well, how effective is this due diligence process? I'll give you an example. It will, once the process is started and the due diligence is begun, they go down to the detail of actually checking your office, your home, these addresses that you provided that do actually exist. All government agencies are checked. All government intelligence worldwide is also, the names are ran to check through them to make sure that the individuals are not on any watch lists or have any issues. The courts, even the registries, to make sure that the information you've submitted about your company or companies is accurate and that everybody is who they say they are, basically. Due diligence is usually done by companies that are specialized in that, that's hired by governments to do. And they have presence everywhere in the world and on-ground people everywhere in the world, which makes the process tangible and accurate for governments to trust these type of reports that come in. A question that you'll always be asked is, what if I'm refused? How would I know? What's the grounds for refusals? Why would I be refused? It's a very simple answer. And I say this to everybody. Every individual should know if they have any problems. So if you're asking the question, you should know the answer yourself. If you have any past history of major crimes, money laundering, anything in that source, reputation is also important when it comes to this. So if you're an individual that has, 50 lawsuits a year against you for unethical dealings or fraud or whatever, I mean, these are obviously grounds for refusal. You're not an individual that a government like St. Kitts, for example, wants for you to hold their citizenship and be one of its citizens. But cases like if you have a conflict with a business partner or a company and there is a court case going on, that's really not something that they look for. They would ask, it will flag in the due diligence, but they would ask for clarification on it, on what the status is and what the information is. Timeline for due diligence process is anywhere between 2 months to 3 months, depending on the findings, depending on the country. So it's a fairly quick process. Reviewing it, on the other hand, could take a little bit of time if there's a lot of information that needs to be clarified by the citizenship units. And Mr. Khan, that has joined us now, welcome. He'll be able to touch on that a bit more. A very important document that will be required through the process are police clearances. So any country that an individual lived in for more than 6 months, they'll need to provide this police clearance for the process. Now, in some cases, depending on the country that the person has lived in, for example, just to give an example, if it's Libya, right now there's unrest in Libya, it's very hard to get a document from there. Sometimes the governments will give exceptions for those type of unique cases. Like I mentioned earlier, what we do as Migrate World before we initiate an application is that we do our own in-house KYC. We make sure that we do a very detailed search on the individual, even in the country, in the industry, that we would ask around for us to understand who the company is, who the individuals are in the company, for us to be sure of their reputation and be confident of our services that we're going to be offered, that we don't fall short because of anything that could be a problem for them. The code of conduct, I put this in here because this is something that's very important to us as Migrate World, and I'm sure it's very important to you as individuals and companies as well. Respect between our colleagues, partners, and clients. We're here at your disposal. There's always going to be a level of high level of respect and professionalism between us, no matter how new or old the relationship is. That will always be the
friends, if you can hear me, we're just going to wait for Mo to come back. There's some internet connection he's had problems.
Yeah, I'm back. Yeah, I'm back here now. Not sure what happened there. So you can hear me okay? Okay, perfect. So confidentiality is number one in this industry. You're handling very sensitive information, very private information for your clients or partners or business partners. It's very important to keep a high level of confidentiality. Make sure that in every aspect, I mean, as documentations that you're handed over, or even emails, or if you have your own server, in-house server, I mean, all these things are targets for individuals that look to gather information like this and steal identities. So that's something that's very important, as well as keeping the confidentiality between, even brothers and cousins and friends sometimes don't want each other to know that I've applied for a second citizenship, or I've applied for a residency. So it's always key to not answer the question when you're asked. I always get asked this when I get a referral. What did my friend get? What did my friend decide to do? Which option did my friend get? It's a very uncomfortable position that they put you in, but you always have to just respect that privacy and just say, I'm not able to share that information with you. You wouldn't want me sharing that information about you with anybody else. So I'm sure you understand and respect my position of me. I'm not able to answer that question. very simple, straightforward answer. Our reputation reflects our beliefs. Transparency, honesty is very important in this business. This industry is a very high-risk industry. There's a lot of fraud in it, a lot of individuals that try to take advantage of the vulnerability of individuals that are looking for a plan B or an option or a solution for their children, for their futures. So it always makes the customer, the client, comfortable when we're being completely transparent, honest, humble, respect. All this is all things that make our jobs better and make our industry remain ethical and in good standing. Doing the impossible and going the extra mile for individuals is what we always do in Migrate World. Our services don't just stop once they finish their citizenship process. Most of our clients, if not 90% of our clients, still come to us even probably 2 or 3 times a year for help or assistance and things that sometimes we don't even offer, but we'll still extend the helping hand throughout our networks of people and help that we have to be able to assist them. So basically, that's about it. If you can take the screen off for me, you can have my picture back on. Thank you. I want to thank you all for listening to me. I hope I didn't bore you. I hope the information was informative. And I'd like to now introduce you to Mr. Les Khan. He's with us here. He took the time for him to, early morning for him to join us and give a little bit of information on the St. Kitts and Nevis Citizenship by Investment program. So Mr. Khan, whenever you're ready.
Before you speak, Mr. Khan, I just wanted to switch on your camera, please, on the top with the blue button. If you can switch that on, we will be able to see you completely. That would be wonderful.
Mr. Khan, there's a little microphone button on the top of your screen. You have to click that on. It has to be illuminated in blue. And similarly, there's a video on button to the left of that button. You'll have to click that on blue as well.
Because you're muted at the moment and we can't see your, you can see your photograph, of course, but we can't see you live. But if you can, on top of your screen, there'll be 2 buttons. They need to be illuminated in blue. One is a microphone and the one next to that is the camera. So if you can just click on them, it'll be wonderful.
Mo, can you just move the call?
Mo, can you just check with him if he's
Yes,
there?
I'm checking. I'm checking right now.
Right, I have the audio on.
Okay, you've got your audio on, and next to that is the left of that is the video button. If you can click on that, also then we can see you.
All right.
Yes, there you are.
Good.
Before you speak, friends, I just want to mention that Mr. Les Khan is the CEO of the St. Kitts and Nevis Citizenship Investment Unit. And we're going to hear him. So over to you, Mr. Khan. Let's hear your points of view.
Well, I'm not sure what time it is anywhere, but it's morning in my time. I'm in Spain right now. First of all, I'd like to thank Migrate World for inviting me to this seminar, and also to say it's good to be making a presentation to the folks in India. It brings me back to the days that I lived in Bangalore for about 5 years. So it's great to be representing St. Kitts and Nevis, and specifically in India at this point in time. Talk a little about, I came understand on due diligence, and we can start there. In listening to what Mo talked about in due diligence. Due diligence is a very critical part of our process. And we hire international due diligence companies to do the background checks of individuals. These due diligence are independent of the checks that Migrate World will do or any other agent will do, because we need to keep ourselves independent of the process. There are two levels of due diligence, just so that everybody understands. The first is the due diligence companies that we use, who do a lot of open source media checks. They will check to see if there's any negative media, any information they can get in the public domain. The second part of the due diligence companies' work is actually to put boots on the ground. And they will send their agents to do discrete inquiries on things like birth certificates, marriage certificates, employment records, employment history, criminal records, police certificates, education. So they will verify everything that the individual has put in his application form. It's important. I heard Mo talk about being open and transparent in your disclosures. I would like to add one more onto what I heard him say, and that is visa refusals. If an individual has been refused a visa in any country, it's important that they disclose that information to Migrate World, so a determination can be made if that application can go forward before it even comes to me. There is a second level of due diligence that we do, and this pertains to international law enforcement. So when we get an application, apart from sending to due diligence companies, we will send to international law enforcement. International law enforcement entails databases maintained by the US, the UK, Canada, the EU specifically. And they will have things like access to Interpol, either the open database of Interpol or the secret database of Interpol. So we will get a report back on anything that is showing up on an individual. So it's important to disclose. It's important to be honest in your application, because if you're not, it could lead to a denial from the unit, or it can delay your application process in a limited number of time. Generally, when an application comes into our unit, from the day it comes to us to the time of approval, it's usually about 90 days. And 90 days is based on if there are no issues with the application. If there are issues, it can go longer than this, because we will be doing a lot of queries. We'll be communicating with Migrate World, who will be communicating with you, the client, and we go from there. And this is where the timeline can get extended. Again, I want to emphasize, the 90 days is from the date that the file comes into my unit and is acknowledged, right? There are periods before that where, for example, Migrate World might be gathering information. They may be filling out the application form with the client and saying, I need this document, I need that document. And the client may think that the application is taking a year, but it's not. From the unit's perspective, it's 90 days, unless we send out a query. So I just want to make that point very, very clear. When a client chooses St. Kitts and Nevis, they're basically choosing the Platinum brand. They're choosing the best option in citizenship. Now, St. Kitts and Nevis has the longest and oldest program since 1984. Excuse me a minute, just one sec. Change this a little. All right, I think that's a little better for me. Yeah, since 1984, the program has originated in St. Kitts and Nevis. So all other programs now have their basis from St. Kitts and Nevis. We derived the program and all of the documentation and regulations that are around the world came from this single program. So to emphasize, you're dealing with the best, you're dealing with the original program. And as a result, you will find that St. Kitts is way ahead in terms of what we offer. For example, one of the reasons that clients choose a second citizenship is their ability to travel visa-free around the world. As of right now, we're at 156. But as I open up my WhatsApp, I was just advised by the Minister of Foreign Affairs that he just added one more. So we're at 157. This means that we are #1 in the Caribbean in terms of visa-free access of all the programs, and even non-CBI programs. I would say that we are on par with the #1 spot, which is Barbados, or we may be overtaking them within the next month or so. So again, the credibility, the legitimacy of St. Kitts and Nevis is in its visa-free access. Now, when a client looks at citizenship, they may be looking at other options in terms of the reason that they want to do citizenship. They may want an investment option. So for example, in St. Kitts, we have a number of branded hotels. We have the Galaxy project, which is Ramada Hotel, which is one of our top hotels that is being constructed and will be open in 2021. So there are options available there. We have the Park Hyatt, the Four Seasons, the Marriott Hotel. We have some boutique hotels that are available also. So therefore, as an investment option, St. Kitts and Nevis offers the best. In fact, we are the only island in the Caribbean that offers 5 branded hotels. And we can do that because of the CBI program and the legacy that we have before us. The second option for St. Kitts and Nevis investment at the moment, and I say at the moment because we continue to be creative. At the moment, we have what we call a Sustainable Growth Fund. And the Sustainable Growth Fund is where the applicant makes a contribution to the program. And it's a non-refundable contribution. It starts at $150,000 for a single applicant, and it goes up to $195,000 for a family of 4. At the moment, we're running, if you want to call it a special, which expires on the 15th of January. And this is where a family of 4 can apply at $150,000. So $150,000 for a family of 4. The reason I emphasize the January 15th date is because we don't plan to extend it. But we have sent out a notice to all of our agents, and Migrate World will know this, that if you're serious about putting in an application, I would suggest you get it to Migrate World get your name into Migrate World as quickly as possible before 15th, and Migrate World will register that name with us, and we will hold the price for that registered name. So again, to our participants on this conference, if you're considering something, I suggest that you bombard Migrate World. Am I correct, Mo? Bombard Migrate World at this moment give him names, let him register with the unit before the 15th of January so that you can take advantage of our discounted pricing. The other reasons that people take citizenship, they're looking for opportunities for better schooling for their families. In St. Kitts and Nevis, we have 4 schools and universities, veterinarian and medical universities, and these are at much discounted prices from the US. It's easier to get into St. Kitts and Nevis now than it is to get into the US on a student visa. So we welcome individuals to our universities, and having citizenship in St. Kitts and Nevis allows that flexibility. There are other reasons such as lifestyle changes. So we have the luxury brands, we have villas. We have just actually launched a separate program where we are allowing homes, single family homes, to be sold under the CBI program, as long as the price is a minimum of $400,000. This is an attractive option for a lot of people who want to have a home in the Caribbean, rather than just invest in a hotel and take part of that. They can actually have a villa, a house on private property, and this gives them the ability to bring the whole family and have beautiful vacations on some beautiful beaches here in St. Kitts and Nevis. I mentioned travel, obviously, security for the families, and the opportunities to invest. Within St. Kitts and Nevis, we are now launching a number of different programs, and we're looking for investors to contribute to the economy as we come out of COVID and as we grow to be one of the best economies in the Caribbean. So this is an opportunity, and one must not look at St. Kitts and Nevis as the only place that you will be in, building a business if that's what you want to do. You have to think of the Caribbean as the world that is an open market, because once you have citizenship in St. Kitts and Nevis, you're part of CARICOM, and CARICOM is the Caribbean, call it the Caribbean economic market itself, because you have free trade, you have ability to work in other islands, and the ability to sell and produce in other islands. So therefore your market becomes and grows beyond St. Kitts and Nevis. So we encourage people to come to St. Kitts and Nevis, start your businesses and expand beyond. And this is one of the attractiveness of being in the Caribbean. One of the things that I'm sure with the Indian community, you all understand that the Caribbean has had a very large number of Indians. My ancestors, for example, on my father's side, came from India, in Trinidad and Tobago, which is where I originated, and most people will know Brian Lara, so I don't have to talk about Trinidad, but that's where the ties to the Indian community, the ties to India in the Caribbean has been very, very strong. And we're beginning to see a lot more of that in St. Kitts. We have a lot of businesses owned by Indians. And this is just to encourage people to come in to St. Kitts and Nevis and explore the opportunities that we have. I wouldn't talk much more about St. Kitts and Nevis, but I'm sure there'll be a lot of questions that may come out of the audience. So with that, Mo, I would say thank you, and I'll hold for questions.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Les. It's much appreciated on your vacation as well, for taking the time away for us. It's much appreciated. And thank you very much for the introduction about St. Kitts.
Okay, thank you very much. In fact, thank you, Mr. Khan. Thank you, Mo. But now, in fact, I know a lot of you have been sending a lot of questions to us. So I'd like you to hold on now. You can send your questions later. And of course, Shalini would reply to all of them at the moment. So whatever questions I have at the moment, I'm just going to take those. And I'm going to request Mr. Khan or Mo, between both of you, you need to reply to all of them. Make it brief. Let's not go too much into detail. So some questions are which can answer with yes or no. So I leave that totally to you. So I'm going to begin now. This is Mr. Abhishek Agarwal. His question is, what exactly is the difference between a residency and a citizenship program? Briefly, if you would like to answer that.
Mo, you want to answer that, or you want me to answer that?
Sure, I can take that one over. So basically, a citizenship program is a program like St. Kitts and Nevis, where you're able to apply for direct citizenship. So you're receiving a citizenship and a passport within 90 days, and you become a citizen within 90 days. So you're free to use the passport and travel. Residency is where you apply for a residency and you hold a temporary or a permanent residency into that country. And then there might be some qualifications for you or requirements for you to reside for a certain number of years before you're able to apply for citizenship to become a citizen of that country. Like, for example, Canada requires you to reside for 1,095 days before you're eligible to apply for citizenship as a residency holder. But as a resident holder, just to add, you're able to benefit from all the things that a citizen would benefit from, except for voting is one thing that worldwide is agreed on. A resident was not able to vote until he becomes a resident, a citizen. Sorry.
Yeah. Fair enough. Thank you. Mr. Khan, I'm going to ask you this next question. This is from Mr. Neeraj Malhotra from Delhi. You did touch on this. People who have been denied any kind of visa for any country, are they also eligible for this program? I know you said you mentioned that, but would this whole thing go through?
Okay, so if you've been denied, our law, and I'll just quote the law, and then we can work around it. So the law says that if you have been denied a visa from a country that St. Kitts and Nevis has visa-free access to, then you shall be denied. So if you have been denied a visa from the UK, for example, where we have visa-free access, we will give you the option to reapply for that visa, and then we'll process your application. If you can't get that visa, then then we'll have to deny it. But one of the things that Migrate World and Mo will know is that we work with you through this process. It's not an automatic denial. We don't give automatic denials. All right. I'll tell you, I said we don't give automatic denials, but there's one other area that we might, if an individual has been flagged as a security threat, all right, by our international law enforcement, then in essence, that is an automatic denial. But even in that situation, what we will say to Migrate World will be, listen, get your client to travel from wherever they are through the US, through the UK, come to St. Kitts, show us your passport. Once you can do that, we will then go through the process of going through international law enforcement. And we are about 100% successful whenever we do that. All right. If you have been denied a visa to Canada, for example, that's not a problem for us because we don't have visa-free access to Canada. We don't have visa-free access to the US. All right. If you have been denied a visa to Shenzhen, we want to deal with that on a case-by-case basis. All right. And I think we can work through a lot of those.
Yes, Mr. Khan, loud and clear. I think that's very well put through the whole thing. Next question is, Mao, I think you take this. This is from Debashish Bhomik. He's actually in Australia. He's asked this question: do you also process residency by investment for Australia mainland?
Unfortunately, we don't. It's the Australian program is a very popular program, but it's a very complicated program. There was a lot of changes that happened. I'm sure that you're aware of throughout the past couple of years. So it's not something that we are specialized in giving the distance between our head office and there. It's not really a place that we concentrated in. So unfortunately, no, we don't.
Fair enough. This next question is from Shivani from Mumbai. She wants to know, can we pay in cash in India? And where do we have to file taxes after we have been changed our PR? What happens?
So I'll answer this real quick. We don't prefer to take cash. It should be a wire transfer or a check. This is for compliance reasons. That's number one to answer that. Taxation, it all depends on the program and country. I mean, for example, St. Kitts does not have any taxations or worldwide income or inheritance tax. Unless you're living in St. Kitts, working in St. Kitts, then you pay your taxes as an individual in St. Kitts. But there's no worldwide income or inheritance tax or anything in that sort.
Okay. Going on, this is Mr. Rahul from Bangalore. He wants to know, well, actually, Mr. Khan, your place, but anyway, how many Indians have used your program to change their residency and citizenship? Mo, I think that's more, you'll have to answer that.
I mean, I can't give exact numbers again for the confidentiality, but I can tell you that we have a lot of clients from India that are both living in India or living outside, either in UAE, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait. I mean, we're spread out throughout the Middle East, so there's a lot of Indian nationals that have applied through our programs, and not just the Caribbean programs, also the Canadian programs, US programs that are also very popular in India.
I think, Mr. Khan, you can take this question. This is Nishit. He wants to know, is there any age limit for applying for any citizenship?
Yes. So to apply as a main applicant, you have to be a minimum of 18 years old. To apply as, and once you meet the requirements of the main applicant, then you can bring in your spouse and children up to the age of 30 who are living with you or going to school. We call them dependents. All right. So up to the age of 30, living with you, unmarried, and dependent on the main applicant. We recently also announced that we're willing to take siblings of the main applicant and the spouse of the main applicant. And again, that is siblings up to the age of 30 who are living or dependent on the main applicant. And we can include those in the application. We also do parents of the main applicant and the spouse. And the age requirement for the parents is they have to be over the age of 55. Okay. It used to be 65, and we made some regulation changes a while back, recognizing that in certain cultures, specifically in India or the Middle East and so on, there is an early retirement age, and it's about 55. So we accommodate that in our application process.
Fair enough. Thank you. Mao, you need to take this question. This is from Latur, a place called Latur in India. Chitanya, she's the one who's asking this. What is the average success rate under these programs?
Basically, we can tell you the success rate right from the beginning once we vet the client, if it's going to be successful or not. Like I mentioned in my presentation, if the individual has a good reputable reputation, he's a good businessman or businesswoman, and have no past history of criminal activities or any watch list around the world for money laundering or any illegal activities, then the success rate is almost 100%. And Mr. Khan has stressed on that as well, of how detailed this due diligence is. So as long as the individual is in good standing, then the success rate really is 100%.
Fair enough.
Can I add one more thing there? One reason that we do deny people is if they lie on the application form. All right. So trust me, we will find everything out through our due diligence process.
Yeah.
My God, that's fantastic. That's really good, Mr. Khan. I agree with you. Mao, you need to take this one. This is a very interesting question from Pune. Sunil, he's asking, if someone gets a residency and then marries a local in that country, what effect does it have on his bearing? And second question, which he's asking with that is, what business opportunities are available abroad in a particular country? Can we get a job, or do we have to only do business after the investment?
So, very good question. Marrying somebody, depending on where the country is, if you have a residency already, that's basically what you would get if you marry somebody. You would not get direct citizenship, except for, the St. Kitts, for example. If you get married, then you're able to apply for your spouse for citizenship, but there's government fees affiliated with that, plus due diligence fees that are paid. But any other country that you hold a residency in it basically does not change your status because you've married an individual from that country. It all depends on the regulations. Now, you're free to work, study, live anywhere that you hold a residency in. You don't have to make a business or do a business or start a new business. If you're an employee and you have the qualifications for you to get a job in whatever country you have decided to reside in or become a citizen of, obviously that option is open for you as well.
Wonderful. The next question, in fact, both of you could take this. This is from Mr. Sanjay Datta in Delhi. Do you sign an NDA? And second part of the question is, and also which countries allow dual citizenship with regards to Indians?
So I'm not clear on the NDA. I mean, with the client, you mean, or because that's a given. Yeah, I mean,
I don't want somebody else stealing my clients. I would presume that's what he means.
Oh, well, yes, as a business transaction, of course, with our partners, there are procedures in place where we don't, we always keep that barrier between us and the client. We're not trying to take your client. Your client is your client. You build your network. It's beneficial for all of us. There's no point for us to interrupt that by gaining one client. So yes, there is, to answer that. The second part of the question was...
which countries allow dual citizenship with regards to Indians?
So all our programs allow dual citizenships. It does not matter what your nationality is. What matters is if your nationality allows you a dual citizenship or not. So that's something that an individual has to check. But St. Kitts, for example, it's not their concern for them to go and do the check as a government if this government allows dual citizenships or not. It's the individual's responsibility, and Mr. Khan can talk about that if he has anything to add as well.
No, absolutely. St. Kitts allows dual citizenship in any country, and hence why our citizenship program is so successful.
No, I don't think India allows dual citizenship.
No, India doesn't.
Yeah, I'd like to come in here. India doesn't allow dual citizenship. So that's right. Yeah.
Okay, Mao, you answered that first question about the NDA, but this is another gentleman who asked a similar question. He is Mr. Sandeep Saini. He says, what kind of transparency do you undertake? In the past, whenever I have forwarded a file, the company has directly tried to contact my client. Now, how do you safeguard him?
I'll tell you. I mean, I'll answer it again, maybe in a bit more detail. We do this to facilitate and for both parties to benefit. There's no benefit for us to try to go directly to your client, because you will find out eventually, and we ruin that relationship. So that's something that we really are not into and we don't do. And to be a bit frank, we're not, as a company, as an organization, we're not in a desperate need for one client for us to do that to an individual. We build networks, we build partnerships, and that's what we are known for. Our reputation is known for that. And as long as the transparency is there, and I was the one that have put this in the presentation for these type of questions as well, to give people the peace of mind that we'll always be transparent, as long as the individuals or partners are transparent with us and their clients as well. Then there will be no need for us to contact their client or try to poach their client from them.
So I hope, Mr. Mandeep Sen, you're sure it's not going to happen. So please get in touch with Shalini. That's what you need to do. I know, friends, your questions are keep coming in, but I'm just going to deal with next 3 or 4 questions. After that, I would request all of you to be in touch with Shalini for your questions. The other question is, now the next question is really interesting. And this is from Mr. Rajendra Singh from Mumbai. He really wants to know, I think, how do we charge our clients for these services? Because I think there's going to be transparency. He's going to let you know what. So how does this work out?
So once you have a client, you would contact the office. They will give you the price of how much this is going to cost, depending on the program, the family size, and the fees are basically standard fees that we would like to keep in the industry as a standard. Which would be provided to you depending also on the family size of the individual and program, and that can go from there. So there are set fees that Shalini or anybody in the team can provide you with and let you know.
Okay, so that means whatever the client will pay you, and he'll get something from you in that return. That's what basically you're saying. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Mr. Khan, I'm coming to you. This is Chitranya. I think she's from Latur again. If somebody makes an investment, and for whatever reason their visa or their citizenship gets cancelled, what happens to the investment?
When an individual does an investment, if they choose a fund, for example, the fund is a non-refundable contribution. So that 150,000 goes into the government coffers, and there is no refund of that. Now, if an individual invests in real estate, they are investing in a private company that is sanctioned by the CBI program, but it is still a private company. So if their citizenship is cancelled, their investment is still solid. It's up to them as to what they want to do with it. Now, one point I did not mention was that in an investment in real estate, the holding period for that real estate before it is sold under the Citizenship by Investment program is 4 years if it's a $400,000 investment, or 7 years if it's a $200,000 investment. Okay. Now, in talking about cancellation of citizenship, I have been in the program for a little over 5 years now, and we've never cancelled a citizenship, all right, for whatever reasons. What we have done is we've cancelled passports, right? Because once a person becomes a citizen, they are entitled to all the rights of anybody else who has citizenship in St. Kitts, which is to maintain that citizenship. But they don't necessarily have the right to have a passport. The passport is a privilege. So we may withdraw the passport depending on the rationale behind it. And just to reemphasize, there are 4 reasons why someone may get their citizenship cancelled. One is they lied on the application. 2, it has come to be known that they represent a reputational risk. Because what happens with our program is we continue to do checks and balances on the individuals. So no matter what, we are always doing due diligence. So the reputational risk, a security risk, and those would basically be the three main reasons that somebody, if they had criminal records and so on, even that will not be a reason to cancel citizenship.
Fair enough. Thank you. A lot of you friends have asked similar questions, but like Saurabh Kumar, what is the procedure for citizenship in Canada? Please, may I request all of you to be in touch with Shalini for this. I think she will be able to guide you on these things better. And then Sandeep, what are the standards set for of checks that are initiated by immigration? I think please, these are individual questions which you can ask Shalini later, and she will be able to answer that. One question which I think is important, the last two questions which I'm going to take. This is Isthama, what her name is. Do we require a certain bank balance above for investment in money? Minimum bank balance amount do you require for making an investment? Any comments on that?
Yes, there should be a minimum net worth available in cash in the bank account in the individual or main applicant or spouse's bank statement.
This means banks or this means assets?
In Caribbean, for St. Kitts, for example, it needs to be either in the bank, or it could be a transaction that is taking place, for example, a purchase and sell of a property or a land, or a business transaction that took place. Maybe the money's coming, but it's not in the account yet. That can be accepted. Mr. Khan can brush on that as well.
Yeah, so we look for, when we do what we call our vetting process, we look to see the source of funds and the proof of wealth. And in both cases, it's about knowing that the client has enough money for the investment that they have chosen. Okay, now Mo mentioned bank statements. We want to see 12 months bank statement, because that tells us whether an individual is involved in money laundering or not. We can see the flow of funds. From the funds going into the account, we can verify their employment and their salary information. So these are things that we look for. And it also means that if an individual has an investment portfolio, that is acceptable too, because that's as liquid as it can be.
Okay.
We even accept wallets, cryptocurrency wallets, as part of the proof of source of funds.
Friends, thank you very much. In fact, there's still a lot of questions, and we said we're going to give away prizes to the best two questions, but I'm not doing that now live. What I'm going to request is I'm going to share all the questions with Shalini and Mo. Let them then decide which is the best two questions, and they'll send the prizes across to you. That's what basically they will do. A lot of, in fact, the last question which Pushpa Rao says, for citizens by investing abroad, can they get a PIO card? I think you need to reach this with Shalini, but I personally think, yes, if you are invested somewhere else, you will have a PIO if you're an Indian origin, for sure. Shalini, sorry if I'm taking the liberty of replying to that.
No, I think the correct terminology now is OCI.
You want a job?
Anyway, that you need to look into yourself. Okay, guys, I want to say thank you to every one of you who has been kind of situation hearing us, and a special thanks to Mr. Khan being here less from all the way from there. I didn't know that you knew Bangalore so well, so that is good. How many years did you spend there?
4 years.
4 years you spent over there?
Yes.
Then anyway, thank you very much for being with us today. And Mo, thank you so very much for being with us. That was really wonderful. Good to hear you. And I'm sure there are a lot of questions, as you see. And Shalini, thanks a lot. Everyone who's seeing this is on the slide. You can write down their email IDs very well. It's very simple. If you get the migrateworld.com, then you just have to write their first names down across. So that's all available to you, friends, over here. And please, we will be getting back to you with the Shalini will get back to you with the answers. And of course, the best question we will let you know in the next day or two, and the prizes will reach them, and we'll announce it to everyone. And once again, thank you for all your time. all of you who have spent so much of time and heard us, the whole thing through and through, wonderful. And of course, our guests from all over the world. It was such a pleasure to have you. Thank you all very much. Pleasure. And I hope to see you guys soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you
very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.